The best feature on the Apple Watch are definitely the activity rings. I've been closing my rings since 2015 and that kind of changed everything. Today is the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch, the 10th anniversary of the rings.
Apple Watch is the most personal device we've ever created.
And Apple today has just launched something to celebrate it. I'll tell you what that is in just a second because I got a chance to interview an Apple exec about this. We talked about the past, the present, and the future of the Apple Watch.
10 years since the Apple Watch was first announced.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? It has gone by so quickly.
How do you think the Apple Watch has evolved over those 10 years?
Yeah, I think early on, we really were thinking about how Apple Watch could have the greatest positive impact on our users. It's such a personal device. We've, of course, over time introduced deeper metrics and views and experiences. It's crazy to think that the same watch you run a marathon in or, track a workout, you can take an ECG with, stream music, buy a coffee with.
What's next for the Apple Watch? How do you see it evolving in the next 10 years?
So yeah, that was Dieter Kalbeck, the Senior Director of Marketing of Apple Watch and Health at Apple. If you want to listen to the full interview and podcast, it's linked down below in the description. But now let me show you everything that the activity rings can do. How to properly use the app so you can take the full potential of it, hidden features, tips and tricks, and everything that I've learned after using them for over 10 years. Now, the main reason that I'm obsessed with the Apple Watch and the activity ring is for one very simple reason. Apple changed the way that we look and track our fitness. Before the activity rings, there was not really a way that was fun to track our steps, our stand, and our exercise goals. Because Apple changed the way that we track and interact with our fitness. Tim Cook in 2014 went on stage and introduced the Apple Watch to the world and the activity ring.
The fitness app. The fitness app monitors all of your activity and movement throughout the day.
And he introduced a way to track our fitness in a way that was fun, engaging, and extremely simple. Why I love them so much is that the activity rings are for everybody. They're not only for the triathletes or for the professional athletes, they're for people like you and me. Because Apple believes that every step counts to a healthier lifestyle. From walking your dog at the park, to hiking your favorite mountain, to running some errands. Now, the activity rings are extremely simple. Your goal is to close them every single day. As I said, you've got 3 rings. The red one is the move ring, which counts how many calories you've burned throughout the day. The green is the exercise ring, and it tracks how many minutes you've worked out throughout the day. And the blue is the stand ring, which tracks how many times you've stood throughout the day. Now, let me give you a quick overview on how the activity app actually works. Now, there are 4 different buttons inside of the activity app that do very different things. Now, before I tell you what those do, I wanted to tell you that you can change your move goals, your exercise goals, and your stand goals with this little button right here. Now, if you tap on that button, it will ask you, do you want to change your move goal for only today, or do you want it forever? Change schedule. We can change it for today, and using the digital crown on your Apple Watch, you can, turn it up or turn it down. Now, my recommendation and my tip for you is to be realistic with the move, exercise, and stand goals. The Apple Watch should be motivating you to move or to exercise more. So obviously keep pulling it up as you keep closing your rings. They should be kind of a challenge for you every day. But maybe on the weekends, you want to set the calories to 300, and maybe during the weekdays, maybe you've got more time to work out, you can pull it up to 500. Let's go back to the main screen. The button on the top left is your weekly summary. It will give you insights on how your week is doing. Move goal. So far, you haven't beat this week's daily move goal. It will give you your daily average and your weekly total, your exercise goal, your daily average with your weekly total, your stand goals, and over here is where you can actually change the goals. So for example, here's where all your schedule is, and you can just change to daily, or you can just create your schedule as I said. So Monday, maybe you want to bring it down, or maybe on Friday, you have a work day off, so you can pull it up or pull it down. And here's a brand new feature on the Apple Watch, which is pause your rings. Now, what pause your rings will do is it will basically mute all the coaching and goal tracking so you won't break your streaks and all of your digital medals, which I'm gonna get into that in just a second. You can pause it for today, until Wednesday, until May, or maybe you want to stop it for an entire month. Look how many days you can pause it. You can pause it up to 74. Now, this is extremely handy for one day. Maybe you're traveling, so maybe you're at the airplane and you can't stand up every single hour. Maybe you're sick, maybe you're in bed, maybe you're at the hospital, whatever the reason might be, or maybe you're on freaking vacation and you just want to take some days off. This comes in very, very handy, and once again, it won't break your streaks. Now, up on the top right is basically your insights to see how you're doing compared to last week. You can clearly see that I'm well below this week. I've barely done anything because I was kind of on vacation. I was literally chilling at the beach all day. So you can see that I'm well below, but maybe you started to work out this week. You could see the graph going up. So if you work out constantly, this is gonna be a very useful view right here. You can also change the view between all workouts or all day as well. Now, one of my favorite features in the activity app is this right here, which is sharing. So you can see I've currently got a competition going on with my friend. I've got 7 days left. He's currently winning me. You can compete with your friends and you can add friends inside of the activity app. As you can see, I've got tons of my friends over here, and I can tap on one of my friends, for example, Javi, and I can scroll down and see how his activity rings are doing today. So you can see he did 2 workouts today of strength training. And if you want to compete with one of your friends, you can simply tap on compete, invite, and then Javi just received an invite to do that. You can also hide my activity. So if you don't want your friend to see your activity, you can do that. You can directly remove him as a friend, or you can mute notifications. I feel like, there's some of my friends that it's like, I don't really care if you did a yoga workout on a Tuesday. See, for example, Brian is a good friend of mine, but I don't really want to know, when he's working out, but I like seeing he has activity rings and everything on my watch. So I actually muted him right here. If you're competing with a friend, you can tap on the competition and you can see the total points. You can also see the total wins. He's beat me 17 times and I beat him 9 times. You can see we're constantly competing with each other. A really fun thing to do with the competition is actually placing bets in a fun way. Me and my friends sometimes compete on the activity rings, and the person who wins on the competition in the activity app, we have to pay each other for some breakfast or some dinner, just so we have some slightly more competitive competition. As you know, I'm a big collector of things, and one of the things that I love collecting are the awards inside of the activity app. So Apple is constantly pushing out new workouts, new challenges, so you can win digital badges in the activity app. As you can see, I've won a lot, but my personal favorite collection is this one right here, which is the limited edition challenges. And that's one of the things that Apple has just launched this week, which is this one right here, which is Global Close Your Rings Day. Just by closing your rings on April 24th, you're gonna get this digital badge. You're also going to get these iMessage stickers on iMessage. And if you go on April 24th to a local Apple store, you can get a physical pin on the Apple Store for free.
So in honor of Close Your Rings Day, as I said, Apple will give you a special gift with this Close Your Rings Day little pin. It's absolutely stunning. You don't even need to buy anything. You just go up to the Apple Store. There's limited quantities, obviously, but they'll give you this little pin. So go to your local Apple Store. It's pretty awesome.
So make sure to go to an Apple Store, and if it's too late by the time that you're watching this video, you can subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram, so next time something like this happens, you'll definitely know about it. But as you can see, I've got tons of limited edition badges. I've been collecting these. Check this one out. If you tap on it, you can see what the challenge was. Earth Day from 2017. Check it out. If you look at it at the back, earned by Nikias on the 22nd of April in 2017. I absolutely love this one, the National Park Challenge. I remember this workout so much. I actually went on a beautiful hike that day. Yoga Day Challenge, check this out. Apple is motivating you to do yoga, to do different workouts that you wouldn't normally do throughout your year. This was a very cool one this year. Mental Health Challenge. It just asks you to meditate. I believe you had 10 mindful minutes. There's just tons of them, and I absolutely love my collection. I also really love this one, the Running Day Challenge.
What's been the feature that you or Apple you think is most proud of since the Apple Watch was released?
Yeah, that is a difficult question. You certainly just mentioned a few of my favorite. I mean, it is the activity rings, right? Like you said it so perfectly. It's this very simple experience that has such a huge impact because it motivates us to just sort of take those steps every day to be a little bit more active. And I have to say, I think for me, it's something that has truly changed my behavior. And I think that's a really hard thing to do for people is to, change your behavior, change your daily habits. And because we design this very simple way to do that, that's really the feature I'm most proud of. And I think when we hear stories from users who, talk about how addicted they are to their activity rings and talk about how it's motivated them, like you said, to stay active, those are the stories I think that I feel most that's why I feel most proud of the activity rings.
Now, if you go to the bottom of the activity app, you can see this right here. You can see how many steps you've walked throughout your day, the distance that you've walked throughout the day, and the flights climbed you've done in your day. An easier way to know how many steps you've walked that day, you can simply ask Siri, how many steps did I walk today? Boom, just like that, it now tells me 4,492 steps. And if you scroll one more, you'll also be able to see all of your workouts that you've done that day. Now, the activity app on the iPhone also gives you even more information. It is extremely customizable, and there's a lot of people that don't really know how to take the full potential of it. So there's a lot of people that don't know that if you go to the bottom and tap on Edit Summary and then tap on Add, you can actually add tons of different cards, or as I like to call them, just simply widgets, right in the activity app. And there's actually a lot of them. So you can do from trainer tips to sessions to simply steps to trends, which we're going to talk about that in just a second, from awards, etc. The way that I've customized it is this right here. I like simply seeing my step count, my step distance, my activity rings right here, the latest sessions. I like this right here, which is trainer tips from Fitness Plus. So if you tap on this, there's actually a Fitness Plus. So the Fitness Plus coach will give you a tip throughout your week. I like having my awards right here, and this is super, super awesome. You can tap on this right here and it will give you a little summary on the trends to see how you're doing. It will give you tons of information on how the Apple Watch is finding trends with your body and your workout, from stand to stand minutes to cardio fitness, to the move, to the exercise goal, etc. So I love having this right here. There's also a lot of people that don't know this button, which is the See All categories. And inside of here, you can break down everything from the trainer tips, as I was saying, to all the awards. This is where you find everything to your latest walking workouts, for example. You can see all the steps, not only from that day, but from the week to the month to the year. You can see recent workouts and have all the information from there. That's the summary. I wanted to give you a couple tips inside of the iPhone app. So if you tap on the profile button right here, go inside of notifications and make sure to activate and turn off certain notifications that you don't want to be notified for. There's a lot of people that hate the stand reminders. I don't want to be bugged every time the Apple Watch is telling me to stand. I personally like it. That's why I have everything on. But over here, special challenges. Maybe you don't care about the awards that I was telling you before. I personally love them. If you don't have Fitness Plus, you can turn all of these off. Customize the experience. So every time the Apple Watch notifies you, you know it's something important. Inside of the activity app, you can also change the units of measures. So if you want to change from calories to kilocalories or kilojoules, depending if you're a pro or not, you can change everything inside of here. Automatic track detection, downhill snow sports, like you can change from miles to kilometers, a bunch of customization inside of here. Also in the iPhone app, you're gonna have access to Apple Fitness Plus, which is Apple's workout subscription service. It's absolutely incredible. You've got all types of meditations, from meditation, strength, HIIT, yoga, core, Pilates, dance, kickboxing, etc. And then you've got sharing in the activity app, as I was showing you, just like the same as on the watch. Now, another tip that I wanted to tell you is, did you know that you can also add a widget on the home screen of your iPhone? Simply search for fitness, and then you've got 3 different activity widgets, from the activity rings to the big activity rings widget to the training load, as we were talking about before. Let's tap on activity. As you can see, I just added it so every time I open my iPhone, it will motivate me to close my rings. You can also add an activity widget on the lock screen. If you simply customize it just like that, you can scroll down and search for fitness, and you've got two different ones. You can add this one and this one. So every time you open up your iPhone, you're gonna see your calories, minutes, and stand rings and the visual over here as well. On the Apple Watch, don't forget that you can also add complications on your watch face. And if you go on watch faces and add new ones, did you know that there's actually full-on activity app or watch faces? There's a couple of different ones. Activity analog, which is this one right here, which simply gives you an overview, big visual activity rings watch face, which I just love. And then you can simply tap on that and the activity app will open. You've also got activity digital, which simply gives you the time. It's more big. You've got the workout complication right there. I absolutely love how the numbers right here match the activity app numbers from, once again, calories, exercise, and stand.
What's next for the Apple Watch? How do you see it evolving in the next 10 years?
Well, it's really conversations like this that gets us excited about the next 10 years. I mean, like we said earlier, it's gone by so fast. It's been a really exciting 10 years to think about, the evolution and the impact of this device. It really just inspires us to think about the next 10 years. And gosh, all we have done in the last 10 years, just imagine what we can do in the next 10 years. And so I think for us, it's going to be continuing to focus on how we impact users' lives and how we make a difference and how we continue to do that in a beautiful, elegant device that people love to wear. So that's the next 10 years, I think, are going to be pretty interesting.
As Dieter said, the future of the Apple Watch is bright. I'd honestly love to see Apple keep updating the activity ring. I love how Apple has kept adding new digital challenges and badges in the activity app, but who knows if we're ever going to get a fourth ring in the activity ring. I'd honestly love to see Apple playing around with that. Who knows if we're ever going to get a fourth ring, maybe for sleep, so Apple could motivate us to sleep more and to have healthier sleeping habits. Who knows if the activity rings will always live on the Apple Watch? Who knows if Apple could potentially launch a ring? I also interviewed Sumbul Desai, which is Apple's Vice President of Health and Fitness at Apple. She said this about the ring. Is Apple releasing a ring?
Well, we never talk about what we're going to do in the future.
I love that poker face already.
So we're really focused on all of the amazing products we have in the ecosystem, and we want to continue to do great things with that. And we love to continue to surprise and delight our customers.
If I want to get married, I want to get my wife. That's, just hurry up a bit,
She may not want that ring, so you may want to rethink that.
You don't know. I'll give her two. But I mean, it just makes sense for me.
That's amazing.
I'd love to learn how the activity app has motivated or changed your life down below in the comments. Once again, if you want to listen to the entire episode of Inside the Ecosystem with the Senior Director of Product Marketing at Apple talking everything activity rings and Apple Watch, you can watch it right here or listen to the podcast in audio. Happy Close Your Rings Day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.